Exactly 1 month ago, we decided to switch from T-Mobile to Mint Mobile to save hundreds of dollars every single year on our cellular bill. How was that first month? Tune in. Hey everyone, I'm James Montemagno and I'm back with another video, this time talking about my recent change from T-Mobile to Mint Mobile for my cellular provider. Now, I've gone through a long sort of change pattern of mobile providers. I actually was on Verizon first, and sort of Verizon's always been that trusted and true carrier here in the States, at least, where you can get coverage everywhere, but is always the most. I had them all the way up until Google announced Google Fi. Actually, that was the first time I moved away from Verizon, which was costing me quite a lot of money. I don't know if it was about $100 some odd a month or so, but I decided to change to Google Fi. And I did that because I really enjoyed the opportunities I could get international data included inside of my mobile bill. And also it was pretty cheap. I think I was paying $60 a month or so, and I could add on different data. That was pretty cool because that hopped between AT&T and also Sprint at the time, and then internationally changed around. Now, before we got married, my wife and I decided to merge our different cellular accounts. She was still on Verizon and I was on Google Fi, and she had an iPhone, so she couldn't move to Google Fi at the time. And now I have an iPhone, so I probably wouldn't want to move to Google Fi anymore anyways. But we decided to make the move to T-Mobile. T-Mobile offered the best plan at the time for us. It was about $120 a month, included Netflix, and included like the T-Mobile Tuesdays, and it also provided whatever their international service was. It wasn't quite as good as Google Fi as far as international data go, but we were like, hey, let's just jump all in on it. Now, we decided 1 month ago, kind of 2 months ago, we planned this, that, we're probably not going to be doing a lot of international travel, more domestic travel. And also we're spending over $1,000 a year. That's right. Like almost like $1,400 a year on our mobile plan. I logged into my T-Mobile account and I was only using a few gigs of data because I work from home and I'm always at home and I'm always using the Wi-Fi, where I use hundreds upon hundreds of gigs of data. So when I decided to flip over to the Mint Mobile website, because Ryan Reynolds suggested it to me because he's a co-owner of Mint Mobile, I got really intrigued. Why? Well, because they have a $15 a month plan, which gives you 4 gigs of 5G and 4G LTE data. Now, from my understanding is once you run out of that 4 gig, it just drops down to a lower tier of provided internet service or cellular service. So for me, we were already using just a few gigs. We said, why not just go ahead and give this a go and see if we'll be able to kind of use that limited amount. The nice part here is that we could always bump it up to 20, 25, and 30. Now, as Ryan Reynolds says,
we're going to start letting unlimited users know exactly how much data they've been using before they renew. So your monthly usage, if it safely fits within our 12 gigabyte or 8 gigabyte or 3 gigabyte plan, we'll recommend that you switch so you can pay less.
Which I think is a really cool part of Mint Mobile, and I kind of like what Ryan Reynolds is going for here and Mint Mobile in general. Now, one thing to know here, that this is $45 a month for the first 3 months, and to keep that $15 a month, you do need to pre-purchase a full year. So that is $180 per phone, which that would be your entire bill for an entire year, which is kind of great. You can always buy more data, bring your own phone, buy a new phone, whatever you want to do. Now, I have an iPhone SE 2nd generation, and my wife has an iPhone 11 Pro. So of course, those phones came over just fine, and it took literally no time at all to get the SIM card swap over and also port our numbers. It literally took 5 minutes on their website. It was so easy to do. Additionally, I reached out to some people online who gave me their affiliate link, and I got $15 credit towards Mint Mobile. So if you're interested in joining Mint Mobile at all or giving it a try, it's really easy to do. I'm going to put my affiliate link down at the bottom. You get $15, I get $15. It's a win-win for everybody. But what I want to do is actually talk about my first month. And the first thing to really note is, how did it work out with the data. Let's boot up the Mint mobile application right here. And what's really nice is this application is great. I really, really like it. And here we go. Now I do have literally 8 hours left in the day as I'm recording this, but as we can see, I have 2.6 gigs of data remaining. That's right, 2.6 gigs remaining. I only used 1.4 gigs of data. That's it for the entire month. Now, if I go over and I view, let's say, my wife's account over here, my Mint family, here we go, tap on that, go to her data usage, we can see that she only used 2.8 gigs of data for the entire month. So 1.2 gigs is all she used. And historically, she's always used less than me, which is really cool. Now, this is nice because you can add as many family accounts as you desire onto your plan. So actually every single person has a different account, but there's one main holder. So I can add on more people or more friends or more family members as I desire. Inside of here, I can also top up, buy more data, buy international data, and pay my bill. But as we can see here, if I look right now, my 3-month plan with 4 gigabytes ends in 2 months. And my renewal on August 1st will be $180 minus that $15 credit that you can get yourself by using my affiliate code below. So you want to tune that on. Now, like I said, that I've been using this, and I will say so far, overall, everything has been pretty great. We took many trips during this time. We also obviously go out. We have some beers out on occasion, get some wine, go grocery shopping. I'm doing normal cell stuff, if that makes sense, in general. I'm not doing anything crazy. I will say that I do like that Mint Mobile provides Wi-Fi calling, because sometimes inside of the house, we get, not the greatest cellular reception. And of course I did it on T-Mobile, and Mint Mobile runs on top of T-Mobile. So I already knew the coverage I was going to get, and that coverage hasn't changed. It's T-Mobile, which is not the best. Verizon has always been the greatest coverage, in my opinion, that I've seen. However, I've never really been in a situation which I didn't plan for not having cellular service, which I'll talk about in a second. And then, of course, just literally using it day to day, no issues at all when I leave my house, go grocery shopping, drive around, GPS, Google Maps, Apple Maps, all that stuff, totally fine. So I already knew what my sort of cellular life with Mint Mobile is going to be based on the last few years with T-Mobile. Now, I will say this. I recently went on a little trip with my wife out to Westford, Oregon. Now, Westford, Oregon is quite pretty much out in the middle of nowhere. It's down over here under Eugene, under Salem, under here. If we zoom in, it's a little tiny place here with some absolutely beautiful waterfalls and all sorts of great mountain bike hiking, trails and hiking and all that stuff. Now, that being said, there is literally no reception anywhere in here. I asked some locals and they said pretty much only Verizon and AT&T and nothing else works. Now, that being said, we did plan for this and we did a bunch of offline maps, Wi-Fi, iMessage all worked at our hotel. So that was really cool that it just all worked as I sort of planned. And if you have Wi-Fi, you can make calls, you can do iMessage, you can check your email, everything that you would desire. Like I said, we only tapped in and used less than 50% of our data, which means 4 gigs is plenty enough for us. However, I do want to say that I did make some changes inside of my iPhone. Over here, what's nice is that you can change a lot of these settings to use cellular data or not. So one thing that I did ahead of time was on my iPhone, I automatically adjusted some of the apps to not be able to use cellular. So you can see most of them are on, but as I scroll down a little bit further, I will actually note that Google Photos, I turned that off, Hue, the News app, my podcast application, YouTube, and YouTube Music. So that was one thing I did just so I didn't accidentally start streaming tons of YouTube on my walk. So I download some shows offline, I also do all my podcasts offline before I leave the house. This is something that I was pretty much doing already. Most of the players and Netflix will download shows automatically for you. However, I just sort of went into the iPhone and made sure that I turned it all off. But I got to say, overall, I'm very pleased with the Mint Mobile service. I reached out to them a few times when I was porting over the numbers and doing all the SIM card. They were super responsive. The application is fantastic. It's really, really simple, gets you in and out, the data that you need to know. And then, of course, the service is exactly as I expected. There's no difference between my T-Mobile service and my Mint Mobile service. Now, I didn't test, obviously, going past that 4 gigs and what that looks like. My assumption is that it's awesome and still great, but probably slower, I gotta say. The other thing I did is inside my security monitor applications, I also made it so when I stream audio or video recordings from my security cameras, that the resolution and stream rate is lower. And I just did that because I do get sometimes 2 bars, 3 bars, and I also want to save a little bit on data. So it makes me think a little bit more about the data, but honestly, in the full 30 days, it's been very negligible, my actual interactions with having to think about the data. I turned off cellular on a few of them ahead of time, and sure enough, I was kind of good to go. Well, there you have it. I am very impressed with Mint Mobile. I'll, of course, be auto-renewing my full year. And of course, if you want to check out Mint Mobile and give it a go, they have a full 7-day trial. You can do all the things. You can test everything out. If you're already on T-Mobile, it might be a good opportunity to switch. And of course, you can sign up for any of the plans, and they'll recommend a lower tier plan as well if you don't use as much data as you think you're going to use. I'll put my ref link down in the bottom. You'll get $15 towards your next bill at Mint Mobile when you sign up. And of course, I'll even get a perk, which is $15 for telling you about my experience with Mint Mobile. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it and smash that like button right there on YouTube. That goes into the Google algorithm of goodness and recommends us to other people so they can find out about my experience with Mint Mobile. And tell me your experience with Mint Mobile. Maybe you're already using Mint Mobile. Let me know what your experience is, where you're at in the world. I'm over here in the Pacific Northwest, where I'm often going into mountains, going into the desert, or just traveling around town. So let me know what you think. And if you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and ding that notification bell so you get updated when I put out all new videos here on my YouTube channel. So until next time, thanks for watching.